I'd see him sitting on that couch all day long, just staring at that Hollywood hogwash.
Our favorite show was Hollywood Hogwash.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hollywood Hogwash. I'm Andrew Pisano along with Aaron Rosa. Happy post-Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. You know, despite popular belief, we do have some female fans. That is true.
Surprising.
Two still counts, even if it is just two.
That's right.
We do have female fans. So yes, welcome to the podcast. Hopefully you had a nice Mother's Day if you still have a mother out there. Or if you are a mother, obviously. So this week we decided to do a Mother's Day film celebration, and that's why we are doing Dark Side of the Ring about this guy that, he celebrated.
Holy shit.
He celebrated a little differently than most.
This was a good one.
I forgot that this was the guy that killed his wife last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't ever know of Billy Jack Haynes. So, like, of course, like, when you hear, like, oh, former wrestler kills his wife, you're like, oh, who is that? Oh, I never heard of that guy. And then we were like, oh, we're doing an episode on Billy Jack Haynes. And he's alive. I guess it'll be, you know, like maybe an uplifting one like Tony Atlas. No.
Holy shit.
Quite the contrary.
My problem was when I saw this guy, I couldn't tell this guy apart in the past from Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Right.
So I would see Billy Jack and I would see Dr. Death and I thought they were the same fucking guy.
They look like the same guy.
They do. They had that kind of manly 70s dude look.
And there's also like Blackjack Mulligan. So there's just the old wrestlers that have Jack in the name. I was like, who is this guy again? Like, you know, and obviously his wrestling career was short-lived, at least in the WWF. He wasn't there long, but yeah, what a crazy episode. Turns out killing his wife was like the least crazy thing he's done or said.
Jesus Christ. I had no idea about any of this.
No,
I would have thought I
either.
would have heard about this guy with all of this crazy shit.
Yeah.
But then we hadn't heard half that shit from Buff Bagwell, so
That's true.
that's why we have this show.
Yeah, no, it was good. So we're going to get into all that. We have news and rumors. We've got a trailer to watch later. But first, go to patreon.com/Hollywood Hogwash. Go sign up. You get the main show ad-free and before everyone else. We've also got over 100 bonus podcasts. We've got brackets. We've got reviews of various shows like The Last of Us. We're currently going through season 2 of that. We just completed Daredevil. We've done The Boys, Invincible, Penguin, Squid Game, X-Men, Loki, and the Mr. McMahon podcast, which was also pretty nuts. But yeah, go to patreon.com/Hollywood Hogwash. We've got over 200 subscribers on there, and they all love it, so they can't be wrong, right?
And what do we have coming up? I know we're doing Squid Game the next season when that hits over summer.
Yeah, I mean, people are starting to rave about season 2 of Andor. So I think I'm going to let the fans choose, but I wouldn't be surprised if they choose Andor, because we have a few things we could do. You know, I know you've seen Creature Commandos, and some other fans have been like, you should do Creature Commandos. So we've got options. I'll probably let our patrons vote on it, you know? Because also Squid Game is like late June. It's like at the end of June.
That's right.
So we need something in between that.
Andor would be interesting to do because you probably heard the same thing I did, that they dropped him in 3s.
Yeah.
And I think I heard that was because they were at different times. So it would be tough to do like 2 and then 2 because that might kind of...
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
Yep.
But yeah, it's kind of funny. I heard the same thing about season 2 that I originally heard about season 1, is that it starts slow, but then it picks up and it's awesome. So that's what I heard about season 2 as well.
And Andor is a really interesting unicorn because usually there's shit that Andrew thinks is okay and all love.
Yeah.
But Andor was a show that Andrew really liked, and I thought it was okay.
Right.
It was fine. It wasn't bad. It was fine, I thought.
Yeah. But I think it's also because I'm the person that, like, I don't love everything about Star Wars. Like, I kind of just like the lightsabers and shit. And I like that, you know, Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie. And I know I get a lot of heat for that. But, like, that's because it's really not like Star Wars. It's just like...
I mean, it was the best Star Wars movie in probably 30 years, for sure.
That's true, yeah. And also, like, Darth Vader was never more of a badass than that 30 seconds he was in.
I was diamond hard during that. It's amazing.
Right. So that's also why I like Andor, because it's it's the prequel to Rogue One, obviously. But yeah, we might review that. Again, go to patreon.com/Hollywood Hogwash. We've got some brackets on there that you'll like. We've got best TV intro bracket, which I love. Maybe I could finally finish the best TV blooper bracket, and we could do that soon. Once we finish The Last of Us, I would like to do that. It's just a lot of work, but I would really love to do that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, yeah.
So yeah, go check it out. All right, so let's get right into Dark Side of the Ring, Billy Jack Haynes, episode 7. And yeah, it just starts with, the episode always starts with a bunch of kind of like a little preview for the whole episode. So of course they're like, he killed his wife, and he's done all these things. And then Dave Meltzer just said, a lot of guys fall hard in wrestling, but he fell harder than most. And well said, Dave.
Holy shit. I had heard something about this happening like you did, but turning on this episode and immediately in the first minute, it's like he killed his 85-year-old wife.
Right.
Okay, you've got my attention now.
Of course.
Shit.
It's also kind of crazy how competent Dave Meltzer comes off on these Dark Side of the Ring episodes. He always, he is a wrestling historian. I guess that's the problem. In terms of wrestling history, he knows his stuff. But then when it comes to his opinions about wrestling, that's where he kind of goes off the rails, his ratings or, his whole Mabel's going to be the third man of the NWO bullshit.
He's like the bizarro idiot version of Cornette.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, they said this guy was a straight-up thug. He had 2 assault charges before the age of 30. He briefly trained and wrestled for Stu Hart, but Stu threw him out for being too rough and beating everyone up. How about that?
Let's say that sentence one more time for the people in the back that didn't hear.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Even Stu Hart was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This was The Dark Knight Rises, where they're like, Ra's al Ghul had to get rid of Bane. Bane was too crazy for Ra's.
Jesus. Oh, man.
Or maybe Stu was jealous, you're beating them up better than I can.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that was
you're breaking those arms so good, buddy.
So, yeah, then he was discovered in a gym in Oregon. How about that? Another wrestler discovered in a gym.
Imagine that.
That's crazy. He was discovered by Rip Oliver and David Sierra, also known as the Cuban Assassin, and they just show him, and he's just a guy in a mask. How many fucking have we seen those? Where it's just it's a guy in a mask, and he's the assassin, or he's super assassin, or he's the Cuban assassin.
I would love, I would pay real money to sit down with Cornette with just Polaroids of some of these dudes.
Yeah.
Here's a dude in a mask from 1973. Who's that? And see how many he gets.
Right. Yeah. I saw one video where the guy that does the podcast with Kevin Nash, I always forget his name. It's Scott something. But he was the one that did the first shoot interviews with Jim Cornette. And there was one where he did wrestling trivia with Cornette. And it was well, you would think Cornette's not going to get anything wrong but then he's asking him stuff about ECW, and Cornette's just I don't give a flying fuck about ECW. Why would I know anything about that shit? It was so funny. It's ask me something I would know. I don't watch ECW.
Bunch of fucking meth addicts throwing trash cans.
Yeah, exactly. Shit. Yeah. So yeah, Billy Jack was certainly jacked. I thought maybe that's how he got his name. I didn't even know about these Billy Jack movies.
I had never heard about this, no.
Yeah.
I know probably a few more older movies than you do. I'm a little older than you, and I've never heard of Billy Jack.
Yeah, and he's this in the movies, he's just this scrawny dude.
Yeah.
Whereas, the wrestler's a monster.
He looks like Seagal, not scary at all.
No. But so it's funny, this wasn't in the episode, but I always do a little bit of research for these, for these guys, just in case they miss something. But Tom Lawlin was the star and producer of the Billy Jack films. He threatened to sue Billy Jack for using his name, so that's why he added his real last name at the end to be Billy Jack Haynes.
that had to have happened all the time back then because so many wrestlers were just pulling movie gimmicks and TV shit, like, and not even trying to hide it. It's just like, I'm the Incredible Hulk.
Right.
It's like, well, you can't do that.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like do you know about the Hulk Hogan story of how like they had to give Marvel like a percentage of everything they made with Hulk Hogan's name and everything?
That's right.
But then eventually like like it expired and then Hulk was able to like buy the rights from them, like all like, you know what I mean? Just be like, I could have the Hulk name and I don't have to pay anymore.
That's right, yeah.
For a long time, I think it wasn't until like 2005 where he like 100% owned his name. So it's fucking nuts. So yeah, Billy Jack Haynes performed in WrestleMania 3. They don't really go into it. It was against another guy who also had the full Nelson because both their finishers were the full Nelson. And I guess Vince didn't want either of them to take the loss, so they just were both double counted out.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
And this probably says all you need to say about Billy Jack's career is I've seen WrestleMania 3 multiple times. I don't remember him being in that pay-per-view at all.
Yeah.
Not memorable
Those
at all.
old WrestleManias, like while they do have some good matches, there are some that you just watch and it's really like, you know, it just doesn't hold up like in today. And look, there's plenty of shitty wrestling today. That's not to say like it's, you know, it's better now. But there's just some that are just weird, like the Adrian Adonis and Piper match.
Yeah.
Where Adonis is just basically naked and just super fat. And it's just like, God.
They were definitely finding their footing back there. Also, there was a lot of, during that kind of transition from the territories to WWF taking over, there was a lot of these guys, it seems like, where they were great territory guys.
Yeah.
They worked well in their little territory, but then you pull them out of that
right,
and you drop them in the WWF
yeah,
and nobody knows who they are and it just never translates.
Yeah. One of the guys in the doc said, you know, he wrestled in that WrestleMania in Detroit where over 100,000 people showed up.
200,000 people.
This guy's inflating the number more than WWE.
There was 500,000 people in WrestleMania 3.
There's got to be like, yeah, I want to like, if someone could do research and find like who's inflated the number like the most. Like if someone said, yeah, like 150,000, like just insane numbers. Like, holy shit, dude. That's fucking hilarious to inflate it more than WWE's doing it. I think like they said like the real numbers anywhere from 78 to like 84 or something, you know, like it's around there. But yeah, he later teamed with Ken Patera, who we got to see in this episode as an old man. And boy, does he look different. But, you know, that's how that works. Ken Patera is in one of our worst promo brackets. I think he's in the first one.
Yeah.
On our patreon.com/what's wrong with wrestling, where he's like, he beat me like a red-steaded stepson. And like Mean Gene's just like fucking dying.
That's
Mean
right.
Gene keeps having to turn his head because he's laughing so hard.
That's right.
Wasn't the best promo guy. And then Ken said that Pat Patterson wanted them to be lumberjacks and come out with chainsaws. Like, yeah, we're going to turn the chainsaws on, and then when fans are reaching their hands out to high five,
Run.
At least Ken Patera was smart enough to say no to that.
No lawsuits there.
Yeah, no. Then a wrestler known as the Grappler said he could never trust Billy Jack in the ring. He's like, if you pissed him off, he would just hurt you for real in there. Then we find out that Percy Pringle was his manager at one point. And if you're saying to yourself, I don't know who Percy Pringle is. Oh, yes, you do. Yeah, he was Percy Pringle before he was Paul Bearer. Which apparently, like, they made this character as, like, to be the Bobby Heenan of that territory.
I don't think anybody's the Bobby Heenan of anything.
Right.
You can't.
No, I know, but that's how wrestling works. Hey, this is working over there. Let's do it here.
Yep.
But yeah, Percy Pringle. They said one night Billy Jack blamed Percy for a match gone wrong and he slapped the shit out of him.
Dude, you can't fuck up Paul Bearer.
I know, it's fucked up.
What an asshole.
Yeah. You know what's also crazy? Like when I looked up Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer, he died when he was 58 in 2013.
That's all?
Yeah.
Shit.
He was 58. So like going back to the 90s where he was like in his 30s and 40s is like, that's what he looked 60. That all these fucking guys look like they were in their 60s. Like Hulk Hogan in his prime in the 80s was like 33 years old. And it's like, he looks like my father now. Like, you know what I mean? Like he looks so old even then.
Well, I was also 10 years old at the time. So I was probably like, oh yeah, that dude looks like he's 58.
But even when you look now, they just they just didn't take care of themselves. They said another time Alexis Smirnoff pulled a fire alarm, I guess as a prank. So Billy Jack put him in a front face lock and Smirnoff pissed himself. Another time Billy Jack beat up a fan at a bar who was claiming he could beat him up. I mean, that's a wrestling story we've heard a few times. And then about 11 minutes in the episode, they mention the murder. And the text reads, several months after his arrest, Dark Side of the Ring received an unsolicited offer on behalf of Billy Jack Haynes. Haynes asked to sit down with us for an interview. And that tells you right there pretty much all you need to know about this guy, because from what we find out, it's like, yeah, that was like his whole life out, you know, once his wrestling career ended.
When they first showed that, I thought, that's really odd. This dude reached out to them unsolicited. Now I get it after seeing the whole episode.
I wish they would have announced what they paid him or how much he requested in that unsolicited letter. Like,
yes.
Hey, sit down with you guys, give me like 10 grand. And it's like, but you're in jail. What are you going to do with 10 grand? I guess to pay his lawyer, right?
I wonder how long he's known about this show, because we're in season 6.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. So yeah, Billy starts it off with him saying he didn't murder his wife, but more on that later.
Well,
Patera said that they were traveling together. They would check into a hotel, and then 5 minutes later, Billy would be gone. And then Billy said he would take 25 pain pills a day. And then right after he says that, they show him doing a PSA for the WWF on the dangers of drugs.
Fantastic. Don't do drugs, kids.
Right. That reminds me of those memes people made where like they try to fool people online with wrestlers saying don't masturbate. Do you remember that from a few years ago?
What?
Yeah, like someone made these and pretended they were real because like they did a great job. They were like photos like straight from like WWF magazine. It'd be like Ultimate Warrior, like, hey kids, don't jack it in your room, just jack it in the weight room. It was something like that, you know, like it was, they were so funny and people were like, are these real? Like I could kind of see Vince doing this. It was so funny.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It was like, hey brother, don't touch yourself, dude. Just say your prayers. And yeah, it was so fun. I got to look those up because they were really creative.
Stay off the hog, dude.
Yeah. So Patera said Billy arrived late for a show one night, missed their scheduled match. Then the interviewer asked Billy about it, and Billy looks over and asks his lawyer, you think I should talk about that? And the lawyer's like, well, it happened. And he's like, all right. So yeah, basically Billy overdosed on a plane, and they even had to use the defibrillator to save his life on the plane. And then Vince was like, right after that, Vince was like, yeah. Of course.
Man, there is so much butterfly effect in wrestling. Like, how many of these stories have we heard where someone was going to get some huge push,
right,
and they just fucked it all up, and then it went to fucking Honky Tonk Man?
Right. What a shame. People that Vince could trust. Damn it. Yeah, Patera said they were getting a big push. Maybe the tag titles. Who knows? Yeah. So after Billy got fired, he returned to Oregon, but he started a new promotion called OWF, Oregon Wrestling Federation. It didn't last long. Other wrestlers were upset because it was the rival to the promotion that he worked for, you know, last time he was in Oregon. But I think it lasted like a summer.
Maybe even shorter than that.
Yeah. And like later in the episode, some were like, yeah, it was probably just to launder money, like through the mob, you know, like that's how that shit works.
How many wrestlers started promotions on their own? Like I know it happened, but there can't have been many that were able to get a promotion off the ground.
Probably back then. I mean, now they do it all the time. There's so many now, but like back then, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I mean, now there's like endless.
Well, sure.
Yeah. So Billy then did a shoot interview in 2019, and he revealed that while wrestling in the 70s and 80s, he was a cocaine dealer making $30,000 a week. He also had to break some legs if people didn't pay up and all that. So Then there was a murder case in Arkansas in the 80s where 2 teenage boys were run over by a train. There was even an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on this.
Crazy.
They play that guy from Airplane where he's like, 2 kids run over by a train. And,
Robert Stack, yeah.
yeah, no one knows what happens. So, in 2017, Billy Jack claimed the teenagers were murdered because they wandered into a drug deal. And then Cornette talking about this next part, he was like, Billy claimed that he videotaped the drug deal and even wore a wrestling mask. He was wearing a wrestling mask.
Because that's what guys do in that world.
Yeah.
They videotape transactions.
Right.
And everyone around that who's being videotaped is like, this is fine.
Yeah. And why are you wearing a wrestling mask? Did he borrow Cuban Assassin's mask to go
Holy
make
shit.
this drug deal?
Jesus.
And who makes drug deals on the train tracks?
Yeah, that's like movie shit. People don't do that in real life.
Right. You meet in a public place so that no one gets hurt.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Cornette's commentary on all of this made this episode.
Yeah, I mean, he's great.
He was in rare form.
So yeah, Billy says he helped put the teenagers on the tracks after the drug dealers killed them. It was just like, what?
It's almost as if he thought, how can I insert myself in the story without incriminating myself where I'll get arrested, but I'm still involved and people are talking about me?
Right. So then one of the victims' mothers and a private investigator believed Billy, but they have since passed away. That poor woman that Billy,
Oh, Jesus.
did that to. Like, what a piece of shit.
She's sitting there like holding his hand.
Yeah.
Like thank you, you nice boy.
Thank you for allegedly being a part of my son's murder.
Right. Jesus.
So fucking stupid. So yeah, then Billy claimed the videotape he made was stolen or destroyed. Yeah, so it's out there somewhere. Someone's got it.
Sure.
Billy also claimed he murdered 2 Arkansas police officers, but they don't really go into much detail there. He was ordered to do it just because they were busting their drug dealers, I guess. I don't know. And then the Darkside guys ask him about these stories, and he says, I can't talk about it. But then they're like, but you talked about it before. And he's
So
like,
many times.
So many times. He's like, I can't talk about it, guys. Sorry. And then they ask, is it true? And the lawyer's just like, we can't talk about it. So
Jesus.
then they revealed that Billy's statements on the boys on the train tracks were not taken seriously by police, and the case remains open.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Billy did more interviews, but looked very strange, and like he had this white hair, which like when they first showed it, I was like, oh, he's just wearing a wig. But then he was like yanking on it to show that it was his hair, and Jim Cornette was like, he looked like the 5th Beatle. So yeah, he started inserting himself into more newsworthy stories, including being a drug enforcer for the Clintons.
Holy Christ.
And then one guy, I don't remember who this guy was, but obviously he knew Billy. Maybe he was a former wrestler promoter, but he was like, why would Bill Clinton call Billy Jack Haynes? That was such a great line.
Give me Billy Jack.
Yeah, we got to get someone taken care of. Give me that wrestler, Billy Jack Haynes from Oregon. Yeah, he's from Oregon.
Jesus Christ.
Get me Billy Jack Haynes. Yeah, I'll give him a young girl as a thank you.
Oh, no.
So then Billy he also said Vince McMahon Sr. could be his real father.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, they showed how he said it years ago. He's like, Vince McMahon Sr. could be my father. And then he's in prison, he's like, Vince Sr. could be my father. And it's like, you still going with this still? You look nothing like a McMahon. Not at all. Just fucking lunacy with this guy. He also called Vincent Kennedy McMahon I call him Vincent Killer McMahon.
Yep.
And we never hear more on that. Like, who did Vince kill?
It's like waving the sheet of paper with Owen's face on it around. Like, my God.
He also said 9/11 was an inside job, and I'm surprised he said he didn't plan it. Like, I'm surprised he didn't say he planned it.
That's almost like too mainstream of a conspiracy theory for him.
I planned 9/11. I flew the planes. Both of them? Both of them. And you parachuted out? Yup. That's what you nailed it. Wow, I couldn't even think of that part. Yeah, I parachuted out. That's crazy.
Oh, my God.
And where was the film? Where was the tape on that? It got stolen. Someone was recording me parachuting out of the planes. And then I killed him. So there you go. Covered that up.
Bin Laden had it, but then SEAL Team 6, they stole it.
Fuckers. It was all porn and just that tape.
There you go.
Damn.
Billy Jack.
So then Cornette said, when you're just pulling stories out of your ass, even if one or two of them are true, nobody's going to believe them. But then on January 10th, 2006, Billy Jack was almost beaten to death. And he claimed it was by two hitmen who worked for this crime boss that Billy was also working for. And Billy claimed it was revenge for ripping off 200 grand back in the 80s. And then this journalist that was on this episode, he was like, I believe he worked for this crime boss, but why would they wait 16 years to get revenge? That's not how it works.
That's what crime bosses do. They wait 2 decades to get revenge.
Yeah. So Billy told this story to the journalist who was interviewed for this episode. The journalist also said he told Billy about a story of a corrections official being murdered, a corrections officer, and then 2 months later, Billy sent him a letter claiming to have witnessed it.
Oh, my God.
Like, what the fuck?
This guy's amazing.
Like, what are the chances that 2 men came to beat him up just because he was talking shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he claimed he was, like, involved in this, and they were like, that fucking guy wasn't there. Let's go beat the fuck out of him.
Absolutely.
Like, that could have been the case.
This guy's been pissing people off his whole life. This could have been anybody.
Right. So then Billy ends up homeless for a while, and he was living with another former wrestler, the one that discovered him, Rip Oliver, who was dying. And, of course, Billy was ripping him off. They had Rip Oliver's son on there. They were like, yeah, he had all of his medication. Billy stole it from him. And then Billy also used Oliver to defraud a non-profit organization.
Holy shit.
That Brian Blair was running that helps retired wrestlers and boxers.
Jesus Christ. What a piece of shit.
Yeah, not a good guy. And then back in Portland, Billy Jack began a relationship with Jan Becraft, the mother of his friend Todd.
Oh, boy.
And Todd didn't approve, but then he died in 2021. I'm surprised Billy Jack didn't take credit for that.
After all that shit, he wifed up his friend's mom.
Yeah. They
Great
get
move.
married. Jan was 85. Billy was 70. So Meltzer assumed he was using her for money and a place to live. And he's probably right there.
Of course.
Then on February 8th, 2024, Billy shot and killed his wife and then had a standoff with police for a couple of hours before turning himself in, or, just them arresting him. And Billy claimed Jan had dementia, and so he mercy killed her.
Mercy.
Yeah.
Mercy bullet in the head.
Right.
Let's get that straight.
One guy said that. He was like, I don't know if that's mercy killing, brother. Yeah. The journalist, of course, thinks he has CTE from wrestling and the beating in 2006, and I definitely believe it, right? I mean, that's probably true.
Sure.
It's, it's not a complete excuse for what he did, obviously, but that at least provides some explanation. We've seen so many former athletes go insane, all related to CTE. Chris Benoit, obviously.
Sure, but this guy did also seem pretty fucked up, even back when he first started making it in the industry.
True. But man, Billy's friend in this episode was like loyal to the end. Like,
Yes.
what does he think he's getting out of this?
He was being real cloak and dagger about,
Yeah.
oh, that's not my place to say, and I can't divulge that.
Right. But he also believed a lot of Billy's stories.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they shared the same drugs, same needles. I don't know. Just fucking crazy.
Maybe Billy Jack has some shit on him.
Yeah. And then Cornette said, who's ever going to know? The only person that's alive who was in the room is Billy Jack, and you can't believe a thing he says.
That's damn right.
Yeah. So Billy Jack Haynes pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and unlawful use of a weapon in the connection to the death of Jan Becraft. The trial is currently set for December. And at the end of the episode, one of the Dark Side guys asked, do you feel good about your chances? And he's like, I do. Yeah. It's kind of surprising. You think this would be like an open and shut case that isn't going to be delayed for 2 years?
Like he's admitted, yeah, I shot her.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought I was doing her a mercy. Well, it doesn't really work that way. You can't just take your grandma with Alzheimer's out back and put one between her eyes. That's
Right.
It's not how this works.
Yeah. Like you have to go to, a state. I don't know if Oregon is one that allows, I feel like they are, but like when someone's gravely ill and they they slowly, they put you to sleep and everything like that. They euthanize you. Like, just do that if you want to do that. But yeah, I don't know. But I don't, like, how does he even have a lawyer that he's paying?
Right.
Was it from the Brian Blair organization that he ripped off?
He can't have any money at this point.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Pretty crazy episode. If you didn't see it, I would go watch it. Even if we just told you everything right here, it was still worth a watch.
I think the line of the episode for me was when Cornette was like, what are we supposed to believe, that this guy was the Forrest Gump of crime? I was rolling. It's incredible.
Yeah, Cornette's awesome. So there you go. Billy Jack Haynes, another piece of shit wrestler.
Yep.
What are the odds? All right, let's get to the news and rumors, a.k.a. the Hollywood Hogwash. So the season 2 trailer for Peacemaker dropped just a few days ago. Let's watch right now.
They're going to be doing backflips to get you to join.
Welcome, Peacemaker, or do you prefer Chris?
Either's fine.
Can you tell us a little about your skills?
I'm considered the finest marksman in the world.
The mic is off.
Yeah.
I am also proficient in hand-to-hand combat.
How many more of these do we have today?
Is that popcorn still here?
Love pop.
My heart's getting really big lately, so.
I have a variety of helmets.
This guy sucks.
Excuse me? Am I supposed to be able to hear you guys?
Excuse me?
You were talking about your butt and stuff. And also you said that I suck.
It is not funny.
Awesome.
I don't get it. We saved the world.
I thought everyone would finally treat us like heroes.
I don't need anybody else to just forge my own path.
You're living in the worst level of Grand Theft Auto.
I've come to the conclusion you suffer from a particularly severe form of toxic masculinity.
What?
Argus has been monitoring Peacemaker ever since Rick Flag Sr. was named director.
So this time, yeah.
Bring me Peacemaker.
Mexicali, you scan for any anomalies throughout that house. Pony boy, don't let him out of your sight. Titties, I want you to take the front door. Encino man, you take the back door. Got it?
Yeah, but not the fucking names, dude. You can't just call us that.
What do you think we are, fucking Berkeley?
Tim Meadows!
We haven't always been great people. But
We are the 11th Street Kids.
no one will ever break us apart.
You ready for the next adventure, pal?
Keep on keeping on.
Look at this shit.
Who the fuck are you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm proud to announce I have returned for season 2 of Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Put the suit back on again.
Right. Congratulations. The fuck is his name again?
Oh, Jesus, I forgot already.
It's been too long.
It's been too long since the first season.
Yeah.
That was so great.
It looks really good.
They're already starting the continuity. We've got Flag, who first showed up in
Yes.
Creature Commandos. Now we're seeing him here.
Yeah.
Flag Senior, that was great.
Yeah, because Peacemaker kills Flag in Suicide Squad, and now Flag Senior's coming for Peacemaker.
That's right.
That's really cool.
That's great. Getting to see Green Lantern, fucking Philly and Green Lantern.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so at the beginning he's getting interviewed by the Justice League, but they hate him, so he is their Deadpool basically. And Dina from Last of Us was one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
How about that? But the whole two Peacemakers thing, and him walking through that door, it all looked weird. Like that's everyone figures that's going to be how James Gunn explains how we're moving away from the DCEU into the new DCU, right? Where
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's exciting. Season 2 drops August 21st. A perfect late birthday present for me. And you could bet your ass we're going to be reviewing that on Patreon. So,
Damn right.
Very excited. It's finally back. God, when was the first season? I think it was 2021. It's been 4 years.
Was it that long ago?
I think so, yeah. Because I think it even started before I think it started before this podcast even came out.
Because I came around to it a while after it had come out.
January of 2022.
Yeah.
So, fuck, man. It's still been a while, but very excited. Also, fans are thinking Miles Morales is going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day after Liza Colon Zayas was cast in the film. They're thinking she will play Miles' mother since she's a 52-year-old Puerto Rican woman from New York.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I think people know her from that show, The Bear, the cooking show.
Yeah. I still haven't checked that out, but heard good things.
It's pretty good. I think you'd like it.
Yeah? You watched the whole season?
I'm like halfway through it.
Is it like a comedy or like half?
It's more drama.
Okay.
But it's great. It's got the guy that's playing the Thing in it. It's got Oliver Platt in it.
Yeah.
And Bernthal shows up every once in a while.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's definitely a selling point.
Yep.
So yeah, people certainly think Miles is going to be in it. We'll see what they do. Obviously, they're going to be bringing him in at some point. Also, Deadline reports that the director of Thunderbolts is in talks to direct an X-Men movie for the MCU. So there's that.
We're obviously going to have some different feelings on that.
Look,
how excited we are about that.
Look, there's just because he made one movie I didn't love doesn't mean he's, like doomed for life. You know what I mean? Like that's
sure.
There's plenty of directors that make good and bad films, opinion wise, but that's fine. Just obviously they're getting ready to do an X-Men movie. Obviously. Also in an interview with The Playlist, Charlie Cox revealed his least favorite episode of Daredevil Born Again, episode 5, which was the bank heist one. Which,
imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, when we reviewed it, we were like, the episode was fine, except for the multiple Miss Marvel references, but ultimately it just didn't feel like it was part of this show. It was such a useless episode that had nothing to do with anything, pretty much.
Yeah. Didn't feel right.
Cox said, I pushed back against it, yet I hear from so many people that they love that episode. So, he also teased season 2, saying it's some of the best writing we've ever had on this show. So he's, to no surprise, obviously, he's trying to get us excited for season 2.
Sure.
Which I'm sure Marvel is desperate at this point because, not a lot. They didn't have good ratings for season 1.
Yeah, it should have been a home run, and it ended up being overall good, but it had some weak spots.
Right. But again, it's tough to be like, hey, remember that show from 10 years ago? Well, it's back and it's on a different streaming app now. And yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Kevin Feige said they hope to release a new season every year, which sounds cool, but how many seasons of a show can you do? This was really, it was season 5 because you have the Defenders, that was pretty much season 2.5 of Daredevil, but it was a full season. So we've had 5 seasons of Daredevil now. How many can you do?
That, and how many times can you keep running back Kingpin?
Yeah.
At some point, you have to go with a different villain.
Right. Also, John Wick director Chad Stahelski told Empire that John Wick 5 is not a continuation with The High Table. He said the saga of John Wick was pretty wrapped up, so the only way to do a 5 is to have a new story that involves John Wick. It will be really different, and everybody will see the trailer and go, holy fuck, I gotta see that.
That is incorrect. The story was not wrapped up. He needs to fucking take down the High Table.
I know.
We all know how this needs to end.
But they're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it.
Because they've expanded this universe now. They want to make John Wick movies for the next 50 years. So, just like everything else has to be expanded. So they can't take down the High Table. You could even be like, okay, they could take down the High Table and then just everything's a prequel. But I don't think they're going to do that. Because then you're like, well, the High Table's dead. We know that. So these prequels don't mean as much. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll see. Certainly, that's what everyone would love to see. Someone's got to take down the High Table, but I don't think they're ever going to do it. As long as these movies make money, which we'll see if Ballerina does well. That one's hard to predict. That one comes out in June. That's the one starring Ana de Armas.
Yeah, that's kind of a coin flip because we know Keanu's going to be in it.
Right.
So that's
probably one scene.
Probably one scene, but that's a selling point.
That's a selling point.
I mean, she's she doesn't seem like she's carrying the, like, this is going to be a woke thing. She seems like she could be a badass action hero.
I don't know if I'm going to see it. I'm interested for sure. If I had to guess, like I would guess it's going to underperform. Like that would, you know.
I would agree. I would put money on it being a decent movie that underperforms.
Because I never watched the Continental. It was like 3 hour-long episodes on Peacock, I think.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's just like, I mean, like the trailers look cool and everything, but it's like this isn't John Wick. I don't know. I
heard it was meh.
Yeah,
was what I seem to hear.
Yeah. Again, that's what's difficult about expanding universes. Like you could do it with Marvel and DC because you're doing it with superheroes that people know. It's like, yeah, you could do Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Like you have all these heroes, but then with John Wick, it's just John Wick. And then you have to like hope that they're like, hey, look, there's this new character. You're going to love them. And it's like, well, we'll see.
Hey, remember John Wick? Well, somewhere else on that planet Earth, there's another assassin.
Yeah.
Let's go watch them.
Right. We'll see. Also, the title of the next Godzilla King Kong movie has been revealed. Godzilla X Kong Supernova. Scheduled for a 2027 release. At the very least, it'll be a fun episode that we'll do in a couple years, making fun of that movie.
Joe's the Godzilla homer of the three of us, right? I know you like Godzilla, but he's like Team Godzilla, right?
Yeah, I mean, when he was a kid, he would rent and watch all those old VHS Godzilla movies that they would put out once a year, So he knows more about Godzilla than us. But the official Godzilla YouTube channel posted a new video of Godzilla, and he now has green spikes and green breath.
Oh, great.
It was like a 30-second thing of him just, and it was like, yeah, it's a new color.
So he went from pink to green.
Yeah.
So they can sell new Godzilla figures.
Right.
Yes.
Because the first one, he was blue?
I think he was blue in the original
The
ones.
first two, he was blue.
Yeah.
Then they made him pink, and now he's green. I saw the video. Like, I think he looks best as green. Like with the, because obviously Godzilla's green, and then you put the green, like the bright green. I think it looks cool, but yeah. Who the fuck else is there to face? I don't know. I know Joe knows, but I don't know. That last one was so bad.
It was rough.
God.
Yeah, they've already gone through all the monsters we've all heard of, so now they're just going to have to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. I think I said this last. I always forget, but that one guy that's like as big as Godzilla, like he's fought him in the old movies. It's like an Ultron thing. It's not Ultron, but
like Mecha Godzilla.
No, it's like a guy. It's just like a big guy. He looks like a Power Ranger.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I don't know the name because
I always forget.
Because I'm not a Godzilla nerd.
No, I know. It's like, I think it was another one of those things where they combine like two franchises. Someone's Ultraman. I don't know. Someone's gonna shit on us in the comments for that one. Probably Joe. What the fuck? Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah. That's all I've got. So take it away.
I just had a few things this week. I think we've talked before about, speaking of Chad Stahelski, the Henry Cavill Highlander reboot that he's been working on. That one's not going to come out until 2027 or 28. So we're still a long ways off.
He's directing that?
I don't see if he's directing or producing because he usually just produces. So I don't know if he's actually directing this.
Okay. Also, I forgot to mention this. They're putting out a documentary for how John Wick got made, like with all of them in it.
I saw about that. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, where can I watch that? What streaming app? And they were like, oh, you could buy it for $10. And I was like, huh?
No.
How did not one of the streaming apps pick this up? So like, I want to see it, but like, I'll probably wait till one of the streaming services picks it up because like for now, it's just like, oh, you could purchase it on, Fandango or whatever.
Or wait till it gets pirated. Excuse me. Sorry.
Right.
Let's see. What else did I have? Oh, this was just a funny little story. Charlie Cox said his parents went to go watch Daredevil Born Again, and they called him and they said, this can't be right. You don't look right. You don't look like yourself. And he's like, well, tell me about what you're seeing. They were watching the Affleck Daredevil.
Oh my God.
So they were about a few inches away from disowning their son.
Holy shit. The fuck?
Pretty sad.
How do you accidentally wander onto that movie?
Oh, boy.
What streaming app is that piece of shit on?
I don't even know.
Jesus.
Is that even streaming at this point?
Right.
They would have had to go find that on DVD.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I guess they have everything.
Oh.
That's probably why they typed in Daredevil, and that's like for some reason that's the first thing that came up.
Came right up next to it. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. The Beekeeper 2 is going to be moving forward.
Yeah.
Beekeeper 2.
I'm the beekeeper again.
Here's the only problem, though. The director of Beekeeper, he also did Working Man that came
Yeah.
out this year. Those were both fun movies. Seems like he's not coming back to direct this one. This is going to be someone else that I'm not familiar with. So hopefully there's not a drop off in that because the first one was a lot of fun.
Did you see Working Man?
I did.
Yeah.
It was
good?
fine. It was good. It was like a 6, maybe week 7. It was
It's
fun.
funny because like when the ratings ratings came out for Beekeeper and they were like, yeah, it's really good. And then Working Man was like, this movie sucks. And it was like, but it looks like it's the same movie. Like,
I mean, Beekeeper was better for sure, but I thought Working Man was fine.
okay. Nice.
So last week we had the bad news.
I'm still the beekeeper. Sorry. Sorry.
So last week we had the bad news. GTA 6 got
Yes.
delayed again
Right.
out to next year. But the good news was the second trailer
Yeah.
got released last week.
Right.
It was sexual. Did you see it?
Yes.
It looks amazing.
It was.
Holy shit.
I just don't know if the story's gonna. There's no way it's gonna be better than 5.
No, of course it's not.
You know, like you spoiled us by having like the best characters ever in a GTA 5 game, and now it's like a couple.
They're not all going to be endgame, though. As long as it's good,
Yeah.
if it's good and it's fun and it looks nice,
Right.
That's fine.
The gameplay. That's what's important.
and they swore up and down this trailer that it was a combo of gameplay and cinematics
Right.
from a just standard PS5. That this
Yeah.
wasn't some kind of super ultra 4K shit they cooked up in a lab. This was just pulled straight from PS5 gameplay. So
Yeah, I mean, look, it's by the time it comes out, that's 13 years since GTA 5. So like,
oh my God.
they better have improved like on the game like a huge amount. It can't just be GTA 5. Like,
it's got to wow us.
it's got to wow. Yeah, for sure.
Especially with 5 being one of the best games that's ever made, both
Right.
with story and just how fun it was.
I would hope, I know this is a lot to ask. I would hope that they make the online play better. Like that to me is like the biggest deal because that's what makes you keep playing, right? Obviously you can play the story as much as you want. And I've played the story quite a few times. But like, please, this time, can you not make the online play all based on who spends the most fucking money? Can we stop? Of course they're not going to do it because that's what made them billions of dollars.
It was all those
With,
fucking assholes. Like,
Rockstar bucks.
hey, I'd love to go play GTA. Let me go get on. Oh, look, a flying DeLorean just shot me with rockets and I've got a pistol.
Exactly.
No thanks, I'm done.
You pop in, you get exploded immediately, and then you pop. I do like the racing. I would race on there. They have
Sure.
some fun races and some fun death matches, but yeah, it's been a while since I've played online.
Sure.
So
And the last...
also bring back cops and robbers. It was in GTA 4
Yes.
online. It was so much fucking fun.
Yes.
All right.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the last thing I had, the Golden Globes plan to introduce a Best Podcast Award into their ceremony. So
Yes.
we would,
Yes!
we are pleased to announce we are submitting for your approval.
Oh, how much? 10 grand to
Yes.
apply and then be rejected?
That's
oh,
right.
Cool.
That's right.
Best podcast.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going to be on the show, right? Like that'll be an award that they give, the day before, because they have a bunch of awards that
yeah.
they give
That
a
has
day
to be-
before or before the show starts.
Yeah, it's got to be an off-screen one for
They're
sure.
like, hey, Joe Rogan, do you want to come up and accept your award? What does podcasting have to do with TV and film? And yeah, that's crazy.
All right, that's all I had.
All right. What are you watching this week?
I finally got on the bandwagon, and I started watching The Studio.
Soprano. Oh, okay. Studio, nice.
He's just waiting for that sentence.
I know that's never happening. Yeah, okay. What'd you think?
I only watched the first episode so far. I think you said the second episode was really good.
Yeah, I'm caught up. I've watched 7 or 8 now that are out, and yeah, the second one's still the best.
Okay. Yeah, no, the first episode was really good. I'm already hooked. I can't wait to watch more. It's really, really funny.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Seth Rogen is just so good. He's so great.
How is he not like that? Losing your fastball thing with comics.
Yeah,
it's hit every comic that's ever been in Hollywood except for Seth Rogen. It seems like
right. Maybe it's because he's still young. Because he started so young. He's like your age. I think he's like in his early 40s.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe that has something to do
Maybe
with
that's why. Also, like the fact that he's a producer, like, you know what I mean? I think that he has creative control on like everything he does. You know, like he didn't get lazy like Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell just doing any piece of shit that someone throws at them.
That's true.
Especially Will Ferrell. My God.
So his name doesn't get dragged through the mud on pieces of shit.
Yeah.
That's true.
The studio did get renewed for a second season.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that just the other day.
So I'm excited.
And the other thing I watched, I finally saw The Accountant 2.
Okay, nice.
I think you said it was pretty solid. I think I completely agree with what I remember you saying. It definitely needed more of the two brothers.
Yeah.
There was not enough of that. But when they were on screen, it was fucking gold.
Yeah.
It was fantastic when they were on screen. It was just because they were so good together, I would probably give it 7.5 maybe. There was not nearly enough of them, but it was fantastic when they were doing their thing.
Yeah, I think I said something like that. I either gave it a 7 or 7.5. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun to see once. I just wish there were more of them and less about the meaningless plot. You know, like the plot was just so boring that I was like, just give me the brothers like every scene. It was like 2 movies combined into one, really.
Yeah, them reuniting should have been the main thing, and it ended up being just kind of like an incidental thing while this other shit is happening.
They should have just John Wicked it where like people are coming after them and together they have to, fight off all the bad guys versus them having to save the day with some other random plot.
That's right.
But it was still fun to see it once.
That'd be
obviously.
nice. Yep.
Yeah. Nothing new for me. I finished The Americas. The last episode showed you how they filmed all the wildlife, and that was really cool. I mean, I'm not like super into wildlife or anything, but I loved it. It was really cool to watch.
Okay.
Like there's some shit on there that we were like, what the fuck? I didn't know they did that. Like it was really cool. It's on Peacock. And still watching The Studio, and I'm still rewatching Breaking Bad. I'm in season 3, and fucking show's awesome.
I'll keep an eye out for when your mood sharply drops, and I'll know you're on season 5.
That's true. Yeah. See, that's a tough one because like it's hard to pick which season is the best because 3, 4, and 5 are all excellent. They are all like the peak of that show. And like, look, season 1 and 2 are also really good, but like season 3 is when it becomes great because that's when Gus Fring shows up. So then you have Mike. So now you have all the characters, it's tough. But like the next episode I have to watch is the Fly episode, which a lot of people hate, but I love, honestly. I think it's still a really good episode, but yeah, excited to continue watching. All right, let's do some fan questions. Let me pull it up. Fan questions. I should really play some sort of music instead of doing that everywhere. All right. This is from, this is more of a, what's wrong with the wrestling name, but his name is... The Continental Championship! Thank you, Penta. A few weeks ago, you were talking about how long a movie was in that is coming out. What the fuck? And I don't remember which one, but they made an app called Run Pee. For all movies in theaters, it tells you the best times to go pee and what happens during those times and cues to listen for when that time comes. Also tells you if a movie has a post-credit scene or not and if it's worth staying for. Just food for thought if interested.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about how the next Mission Impossible movie is going to be almost 3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think I've heard of something like that. There was some kind of P app for movies. What's the name of it?
Run P?
Run P. Okay.
Yeah, that comes out like end of this month. Mission Impossible.
Are we almost there? Holy shit!
like,
Wow. That's
I'm
right, 'cause
almost
it was
like-
a year ago almost.
Yeah.
The last one came out.
And I'm kind of like, no, really? Like, I'm not really that excited. I don't know.
Well, what's funny is we loved the last one.
It was good.
Like, we went in thinking, all right, we'll go watch Mission Impossible. And I think we all really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I might have liked it more than you guys, maybe, but
It's just like you see those movies once. Like, they're fun. They're a theater movie just because the action scenes are so awesome. But like the story in those, movies are always a little lackluster.
Sure.
They never get like, Philip Seymour Hoffman was the villain of the second one. It's like, why don't I've talked about this before, how like the Mission Impossible movies, the Bond movies, you should get like an awesome actor to play the villain and put them in the movie for more than 10 minutes. But obviously we'll see it. So also, the Rizzler, instead of these has-been wrestlers that only the diehards remember, Darkseid should consider making episodes on storylines or significant events from WWE. No offense, but these historic wrestlers, I just couldn't give a shit about. Haven't watched an episode beyond episode 1 this season. Well, I mean, I would give it a try. I mean, that's the whole point, is like they tell you who they were, and that's how you become interested in them.
The only thing I can say to that is I totally get where you're coming from. I was
Yeah.
not excited to watch the Billy Jack Haynes episode, but seeing what a batshit insane lunatic this guy was,
Yeah.
it was entertaining.
But like, yeah, to Rizzler's point, like I agree with you that like the episode's not important because he was a wrestler. Like you might as well, it kind of feels like you're just watching like a 60 minutes episode on some crazy guy.
Like some true crime thing.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Which
That's-
I'm not going to go out of my way to watch 60 minutes, but because it's Dark Side of the Ring, I check it out.
That's a really good point. You got to think the target audience of Darkseid, they're a little too young for some of these
Right.
older school guys.
But like, if they just did an episode on the Hand, like Mae Young giving birth to a hand, no one's gonna take Darkseid seriously again. You know? How do you? What? Like it's just gonna be everyone going, "What the fuck was that?" And Cortland's like, "God damn, she gave birth to a hand. What the fuck?" You know, like what can you say? I just don't know what you could say other than that was stupid.
Next week's episode of Dark Side of the Ring, Choppy Choppy PP.
Right. Choppy Choppy, Jesus Christ. Shrinkage. That's how he defeated them. Amir, do we really need another Thor movie? Last one was a mix of bad CGI, 87 goat jokes, and a dad bod Russell Crowe with limited used Christian Bale pass. I think that's just a rumor at this point. They didn't officially announce a fifth Thor movie. I'm sure it's going to happen, but it's not official yet.
I'm getting a vibe they're going to kill him off in the Doomsday Secret Wars movies.
Oh, like he's going to demand it?
I've heard rumblings that they were wanting to give him a proper send-off in these movies.
That will only happen if Chris Hemsworth is like, I'll do one or two more and then you're killing me off. I'm done with these movies.
Right.
Like I could see that. You're right. Because it does seem like he doesn't. Because like after Thor 4, he was like, yeah, I think I'm done. And then Marvel was like, blah, more money. And he was like, all right, I'll come back.
But you know what I could see though? Like Ragnarok was such a massive success.
Yeah.
And then they went a little too far with the silly in 4. 4 was still kind of good, but they went way too far with the silly.
I still like
I could
4.
see him wanting to redeem himself in a last one.
Right. I mean, look, he's going to be in Doomsday. We know that much. He was the first name on the chair.
Right.
So he is going to be in that. But I could see what you said happening where he's like Harrison Ford, I'll come back, but you got to kill me off because I don't want to do this anymore. No, but I mean, I still like Love and Thunder as like a kid's movie. You know, like you have to look at it as a kid's movie for the most part.
Okay.
And then you could enjoy it. Like I've watched it with my kids like multiple times and yeah, I get a kick out of it.
That's a good point.
Silos, does Andrew only like one movie every 5 years? He's like me when it comes to dating. I quickly lose interest or don't give a new relationship a chance and can't match the level of my exes being The Dark Knight and Avengers Endgame. It's you probably shouldn't compare your new dates to your ex-girlfriends. That's probably not a good thing.
Yikes. No, I can say this about Andrew. It's completely unpredictable what he is and isn't going to like. Sometimes there will be some just wildly stupid movie or wildly crazy movie that I'm like, oh, he's going to hate this. And he'll be like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can never tell what he's going to like.
I got a lot of shit this past week for, the fact that I didn't like Thunderbolts. A lot of shit. And all I could say is it's subjective. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. That's it. We don't have to hate each other over it. But I mean, TikTok comments are what they are, and comments online and
That's
all
true.
that. But yeah, it just didn't work for me. That's all. I'm glad it worked for all of you.
And it's okay because we're all going to come together hopefully on Doomsday.
Hopefully, yeah.
Let's hope.
Right. Fire, unless they kill the wrong person and then Aaron's out.
And then Aaron's out. then I'm going to hate the movie, and Andrew and Joe are going to be pissed at me all over again. Yeah.
See, they killed Spider-Man in Infinity War, and I still loved Infinity War, and Spider-Man's my guy.
But you knew that wasn't forever, though.
No, I know. It's true. But hey, look, Tony Stark's not forever either now.
Yeah, but he's not going to be Tony Stark. He's going to be Phony Stark.
Phony Stark. But he's going to become a hero again, right? Like that's...
I honestly have no fucking idea what
Yeah.
they're going to do with this. And I'm happy about that. I don't want to know what's coming.
Like, is Robert Downey Jr. being like, all right, I'll come back for like 2 more movies, and then I'm gonna... What if he just comes back and he dies again?
The one thing here's the one thing I can't figure is whether Doom is going to eventually...
Like real Doom?
Like Doom, whether he's going to face turn and become, take up the Iron Man mantle.
Yeah.
Or whether he's just going to stay Doom and an Iron Man Tony Stark variant is going to show up to fight him. Mm-hmm. I can't figure, because they're clearly going to do one of those two things.
Yeah.
It's just which...
Or will Victor Von Doom show up? Because everyone's convinced he's not Victor Von Doom. You can't just have a guy look like Tony Stark and he's Victor Von Doom. He's obviously going to be the version in the comics where Iron Man becomes Dr. Doom, right? You have to do that. You can't be like, hey, doesn't that guy look like Tony Stark? He sure does. Well, he's not. He's Victor Von Doom. I think that would be a tall order to try to pull off.
So you think he shows up as, quote, Doom, and then he face turns and becomes Iron Man and real Doom shows up?
No, I think it's because, look, I didn't read this, but in the comics, there's a Tony Stark variant that turns evil and becomes Dr. Doom.
Correct.
I think that's what it's going to be, right? He's not going to be Victor Von Doom.
Maybe. Or maybe it's going to be some wild kind of fucking shit like maybe Tony was adopted by his parents and who they really adopted was Victor Von Doom, and that's... Who fucking knows?
Right. Yeah, true. Fireberry Push, blind rank these 5 episode ideas. All right, so this is for you, Aaron.
Okay.
All right, this is for Dark Side of the Ring. The rise and fall of Jeff Hardy.
I have to do them one at a time?
Yeah. In fact, hold on. Let me write these down so I can have the order.
Yeah, I'm a visual person. I can't just... My brain don't work that way.
All right. Okay, so yeah, first one you've got to rank Rise and Fall of Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. That would be a really good one. I would do 2 for that one.
All right, Jeff Hardy. Number 2, Edge and Matt Hardy. That covers the whole, Edge, Lita cheating on Matt with Edge, and they were really close friends.
Right. 4.
4. All right, Edge and Matt. Jim Cornette and Vince Russo.
1. I'm so glad I left that spot open.
Of course. Kevin Sullivan.
5.
All right, Sullivan is 5. And then number 3 is Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett. Which that one's the Kurt Angle taking Jeff Jarrett's wife from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll settle for that. The top 2 are really the ones that were important, and I think I nailed those 2.
You did. Yeah, I would say, obviously, hindsight, Russo number 1, Jeff Hardy number 2. Number 3 would be Edge and Matt.
I think 3 would be Edge and Matt, and Sullivan probably 5 because we only just care about Hogan stealing his wife, that whole thing. Isn't that what happened? Or
Hogan stole Sullivan's wife?
Wait,
no.
did I?
No, Benoit.
Benoit, that's right, Benoit.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had Hogan on
I
the
would
brain.
probably put Sullivan 4 and then Angle and Jarrett 5. I don't really care about Jeff Jarrett's wife.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, the first three would be great. Russo, Cornette, Jeff Hardy, Edge. They've had to have reached out to Jeff Hardy by now, and he probably just said no.
Yeah, because he's still active at this point, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
He's back in TNA.
He probably thinks, I'm an active wrestler. I can't be doing Dark Side with these old dead wrestlers.
Right. Joey Von Doom, shout out to all the hot single moms out there just ready to put out because they, in Jesse Ventura's voice, I don't have time to breathe. That's funny. So no time is wasted. Anyways, Pushfire Barry, single moms, crazy, toxic, or girl bosses who pay for everything and they're really woke and pushy about everything. So single moms, crazy / toxic, girl bosses.
I'm going to push single moms.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Push single moms. Oh, the other ones are tough because toxic will fuck your brains out but ruin your life. Mm-hmm. And then girl bosses are really annoying. No offenses to any girl bosses out there. I don't know. That's tough. What do you think?
I would probably... Is this Pushfire Barry, right? I would fire the toxic. That's just...
Yeah, you think it would be fuck, marry, kill, right? I mean...
Right.
Marry the single mom while you fuck the toxic one, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on.
I don't know. Yeah,
Pop Culture Junkie. Should Billy Jack's episode come with a bingo card? I mean, drugs, conspiracy theories, Vince McMahon, murder. It's got everything.
It checked all the boxes. It damn sure did.
For sure. And then...
We don't even know who he is!
Have any of you guys started Andor Season 2 yet? And is there a chance we get a review on Patreon? Well, you're in luck from what we said earlier.
Maybe.
There's a chance. It's so much better than Ahsoka and some of the other bad Disney Star Wars stuff we've gotten recently. Well, I believe that. I mean, if it's just as good as Season 1, I'll be happy.
Sure.
So there you go. That is all the fan questions we got. So make sure you subscribe to our podcasts. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Hollywood Hog Pod. Become a supporter of the show at patreon.com/Hollywood Hogwash. Again, we're currently going through Season 2 of The Last of Us. It's kind of good, kind of bad. It's hard to rate right now, but we'll see how the season finishes up. And then as for this show, we'll see you guys next week. It's episode 8 of Dark Side of the Ring, focused on the original Sheik. Not the Iron Sheik, the original Sheik. And I don't know shit about him.
Nothing.
So, see you there.